Good afternoon. This is Dr. K. Balasubramani from Department of Chemical Engineering from Hindustan College of Engineering and Technology. Today we are going to discuss about the chemical process industries. It's nothing but of the productions of petrol, crude, how it can be produced, and where we get the raw material, how it can be produced. First of all, we see the petroleum. The petroleum industry ranks the highest of all the chemical industries. It's nothing but of pharma, chemical, petroleum, petrochemicals, ONGC, some other. Since it is a major source of energy, from the where we can get the source of energy and how it can be produced, can be from the various source from the applications, and has become a basic raw material for much of the synthetic organic chemical industries. The chemical industries can be related from the oil and natural gas also, pharma industries also. Next, the petroleum is by the for the most important of natural product available in the world resource from any other world from own productions, some we get the worldwide market also. The conservations of petroleum will become of increasing the concerns in the air. Next, we see the occurrence of petroleum, from where the petroleum can be occurs, like fossil fuels, like cosmetic clouds, at all. First of all, we found that the petroleum can formed by several billion years. It can be buried under the high temperatures. Is like that. Years ago, from organic matters of marine deposits, it's nothing but of a deposits of more number of fatty acids, to turn the tendency of more temperatures, the deficiency of oxygen, like in anaerobic conditions. The selective bacteria is nothing but of a to transform one form to the another form of natural bacteria. Bacteria attack the destroyed proteins and the carbohydrates, leaving the fats to accumulate. Fat is nothing but of all types of any fats like animal fats, like the buried for any other matters, to the as the oil resource. Hence the name fossil fuels and the reason for conservation is nothing but of conservation one to the another natures. Since the rate of formation compared to the present consumption is nil. Next, we see the chemical compositions of petroleum fractions. From the petroleum fractions, we have seen the open chain or aliphatic compounds. From the open chain or aliphatic compounds, there are two types. First one is N-paraffin series, second one is isoparaffin series. The N-paraffin series gives the largest fractions of petroleum crudes. Is nothing but of make the chemical formula CnH2n plus 2. We change the values of N value. N is the number of values. It's nothing but of N is the to put the value of 1, C1 H2 into 1 plus 2 is nothing but of methane. CH4 is not, we have to add the alkyl group also, methane, methylene, methanol oxide. Next we see the isoparaffin series. The isoparaffin series is nothing but of branched chains are desirable, but not naturally occurring to the any other extent. It can be provided among by the alkylations, pyrolysis, from the alkalination also sulfuric acid, cascade method, hydroformations, and isomerizations. Next, the ring or cyclic compounds. The ring or cyclic compounds mean by naphthalene series. These are also named as the same olefins, but the completely saturated about methyl cyclohexane and also cyclohexane. The second most abundantly occurring series in the crudes is nothing but of CnH2n. See, we're changing the value of CnH2n. Then put the number of n values, we have to change the name of the product. Next, the aromatic or benzene series. The aromatic or benzene series, there is the to n, the prefix can be minus of 6. The present only in the small amount in the crude produced by hydroforming. CnH2n minus 6. Here also we have to change the n values. Next, we see the from the chemical compositions of asphalt. Asphalt is the complex material of relative low value consisting of colloidal materials. Colloidal is made of conjugated and asphaltenes and the resins in the oil form. Oil form is nothing but last crude stages. Next, the asphaltene is nothing but of we got to see the brownish black solid in the aromatics, but not at all the paraffins chemically composed of carbon and hydrogen with the appreciable quantities of sulfur, oxygen, and nitrogens. And also have the resins. Resins value. The resins is highly adhesive by the plastic material. Brown semi-solids of lower molecular weight than the aspartans, but having the same compositions, same molecular weight, and the proportionality of the changing the structures. Next, the place of oil in the oil economic. The consumption of energy is nothing but a production from the petroleums. Consumption of energy and petroleum products is a good indicators of level of country economic development. By using the key growth area of economics, India has one of the lowest rate of per capita energy consumption in the world at only 270 kilogram of oil equivalent. It's nothing but of 217 kilogram of oil equivalent. This is only 15% of global average of 1478 kilogram of oil equivalent. This may be compared with the following values in kilogram of oil equivalent. First, United States of America 7804 kilogram of oil equivalent, and Canada 7166, Japan 3548, the Europe 3202, the China, let's take with 604 kilogram of oil equivalent. It is similarly to the India. Per capita consumption of oil is also very low, is only 11% of world average. Development is the energy intensive process with raising incomes and improving the literature survey like levels in leading to higher consumption than global area, the petroleum products. The consumption of pattern in growing economics like India is titled in favor of the light and middle distillate like liquid petroleum gas and a kerosene superior kerosene oil for household utensils, and diesel, that high speed diesel, and the gasolines for the transportation sector like high octane number, CTA number at all. Further, oil is the one of the most important source of the energy because one place to another place to get the energy to next the fossil fuels because of its excellent burning combustion periods, open incinerations or closed incinerations. They get the good properties and the convenience of handling, storage, and the transportation. For this reason, only Indian consumptions of oil product is expected to grow rapidly over the past few years. And also the Indian consumption of petroleum products in 1992 to 93 was a 58.7 million metric tons. This may be compared to the 4 million ton in 1951 and 16 million tons in 1968 consumption. The project to go up to 107.9 metric ton in 2003 and the 4, and also to 148.9 metric ton in 11 and 12. Demand has sludged in the last few years largely due to the economic slowdown, but is expected to grow around 7 to 8 per annum over the next few years. The transport sector is the largest consumers of petroleum product according to is 47% of total production, like a diesel alone. Only the diesel alone accounts for around 40% of total consumption. The household sector, which mainly uses LPG and SKO, is nothing but of the next largest consumers. And next, the petroleum deficiency of the country, domestic productions of petroleum products, which has 50.9 million metric ton for 92 to 93, was not enough to meet the demand, and import petroleum products account 18% of domestic consumption. The important dependency is much greater in the case of crude. India is the largest important crude oil and became to so. As the target of the plan, current output will be inadequate and the intensified effort have to be made to find more oil. On the list, the productions and the export and the import of the government has therefore taken a decision to expand its search for oil beyond the country border and gain access to production on the sedimentary basis in other countries also. The oil and natural gas company in collaboration with British Petroleum of the UK and Star Oil of Norway is operating on the venture in Vietnam. Next, we see the exploration method. From the early days, when oil species at ground level was used to indicate the oil field, the exploration method have progressed to highly scientific stages. This can be classified into two types. First one is surface geological method. Second one is geophysical method. The surface geological method, the presence of volatile hydrocarbons near the surface is an indication of oil formation at some distance beneath. Sensitive gas chromatography used to detect as low, it's the 1 into 10 to the minus 4 volume percentage concentration. The microbial flora of the hydrocarbon oxidizing type in water wells is usually evidence of hydrocarbons. Radioactive isotopic exchange of carbon in the which is deposit gives the lower carbon 14 assay by using the hydrocarbons or pH. Next one is the geophysical method. The geophysical method having the two categories. One is extensive, and next one is the intensive. The extensive takes place the seismic survey measures by the patterns of craters in the strata, and also the air survey for in kilo per hours of 250 to 300 low flying plants with magnetometer for magnetic survey and scintillations counter for radioactivity survey. And next is the intensive sonic and the ultra probing during core sampling to measure the porosity. Next is the neutron reflecting measurement, which signification detector with increase in a vicinity of hydrocarbons. Next we see the method of production of petroleum. First one is drilling process. The drilling process takes place there, making holes in the rock, heavy sedimentary rocks faster and cheaper together with optimum spacing for whole of releasing of oil spillage from the reservoir is the constant goal of the production from the research. Holes are deep at 5 miles are often required. Offshore drilling as on the North America continental shelf or on the Persian Gulf requires to entire new drilling procedures. Next one is the yield. The conservation and use of the reservoir energy are the keys to good yield, which have the increase from as low as 10% to over 80% of the available reservoir hydrocarbons. Next, there is the methods to be available now. Slower rates of oil withdrawal, so water can sweep in the maintain the pressures, and from the drilling process. In the recycling and repressurization with the CNG or LNG natural gases, compressed natural gas or liquefied natural gas. Next, water and air are steam floating to rework for the old wells. The enlargement of drainage channels in limestone bearing rocks by the acid problems. Acid is nothing but the hydrochloric acids. Now we have discussed about the production of petroleum, occurrence of petroleum, chemical compositions of open chain or aliphatic compounds, ring or cyclic compounds, asphalt, and the crude petroleum classifications, and the oil, Indian economy, and the productions of crude oil. Okay, thank you.